The confirmed number of new coronavirus cases reported in Los Angeles County over the last 24 hours is 1,345, with 21 additional deaths. Here in Torrance, 16 additional cases were reported with no new deaths. Welcome to COVID-19 Today. I'm Reunited. It's Tuesday, February 22nd. LA County's COVID-19 related hospitalizations are down by more than 70% compared to just a month ago. The number of COVID-positive patients fell to around 1,300, a huge drop from 4,800 mid-January. The downward trend in hospitalizations prompted the county to drop its mask mandate for outdoor spaces at mega events, schools, and child care settings last week. The county's indoor masking requirements remain in place despite the state lifting that rule last week. LA County public health officials say our mandate will remain in place until transmission rate falls to the moderate level and remains there for 2 weeks. That means the county needs to reach a rate of infection of 50 per 100,000 residents. As of Friday, we were at 300 per 100,000. LA County Public Health Director Dr. Barbara Ferrer says at the current pace, the county is expected to reach the moderate rate by March 16th, leading the indoor mask mandate to be lifted on March 30th. About 82% of eligible Angelenos ages 5 and up are now at least partially vaccinated. Public health officials say if it's been 5 months since your second vaccine dose, get a booster now. While vaccine protection may wane over time, they are still highly effective at preventing severe illness from COVID-19. To get vaccinated or boosted, go to vaccinatelacounty.com. The Omicron surge made a record number of American children sick last month, and now hospitals across the U.S. are bracing themselves for a potential spike in another illness. During the pandemic, a rise in COVID-19 cases was usually followed by an increase in a rare but dangerous condition called multisystem inflammatory syndrome in children, also known as MIS-C. Thankfully, a number of hospitals say the expected surge in cases has not shown up, at least not yet. MIS-C can follow COVID-19 even weeks after infection. Doctors say it can cause parts of the body to become inflamed and affect major organs, including the brain, heart, kidneys, and lungs. Symptoms may also include abdominal pain, diarrhea, rash, and vomiting. It has been shown to follow mild or even asymptomatic cases of COVID-19. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention tracks MIS-C cases and saw more than 6,800 cases during the pandemic, with 59 deaths as of January 31st. That's a small fraction of the 12.3 million children that have gotten COVID-19 so far. Several studies are underway across the country trying to figure out why some kids get it and some don't. Researchers also hope to understand the long-term consequences and the best way to treat this condition. United Kingdom's Prime Minister Boris Johnson announced the end of COVID-19 restrictions in England. He spoke in Parliament on Monday, outlining the country's roadmap to ending all legal restrictions and start, quote, living with COVID. The other 3 nations of the UK, Northern Ireland, Scotland, and Wales will be implementing their own rules. England's end of restrictions will happen in phases and is subject to approval in Parliament. The legal requirement to self-isolate after testing positive for COVID-19 will end on February 24th. Vaccinated contacts of those who have tested positive will no longer be required to test for 7 days, and unvaccinated contacts will not be legally required to isolate. Workers will also no longer be required to tell their employers if they have tested positive. And people who have come into contact with someone who has tested positive will no longer be traced. The government will remove some COVID-related financial assistance programs on March 24th and stop providing free rapid tests on April 1st. At that point, people will no longer be required to carry COVID status certifications domestically in England. While Prime Minister Johnson announced the end of restrictions, he and other UK officials made it clear that the pandemic is not over. He said COVID-19 will not suddenly disappear and the government will continue to monitor for new, more dangerous variants and keep certain infrastructure in place to identify any mutations of the virus. Justin Bieber's Justice World Tour is on hold after the singer and his crew tested positive for COVID-19. The Grammy Award-winning artist began his tour in San Diego last Friday and was supposed to take the stage in Las Vegas on Sunday evening. But the COVID outbreak within the team postponed that show to June 28th. A statement from the tour's social media page says, quote, "Justin is of course hugely disappointed, but the health and safety of his crew and fans is always his #1 priority." The tour launch in San Diego was a massive success, and Justin is excited to bring this spectacular show to his Las Vegas fans as soon as possible. Bieber was set to perform in Arizona today and in LA tomorrow. He has a very full schedule of concert dates stretching across 20 countries through next year in March. AT&T pulled the plug on its 3G network today, 20 years after it was first introduced in the U.S. The move impacts many services, including home alarm and roadside assistance systems, as well as older phones. AT&T says for nearly 2 years, they've sent out numerous communications via bill messaging, direct mail, emails, and text messages to help customers transition to the next generation of networks. The company is shutting down its 3G networks in order to reuse the spectrum for 4 and 5G. Other carriers are expected to follow suit later this year. A dog that was missing for 12 years was reunited with her owner. It took place this month in Northern California. The San Joaquin County Sheriff's Office posted the reunion and the sweet story on its Facebook page last Friday. They say on February 10th, an animal services officer was called for a report of a stray dog in a rural property outside of Stockton. The caller said the dog appeared old and unwell. When the officer scanned the dog for a tracking chip, he was surprised to learn that the dog, named Zoe, had been reported missing back in 2010. Zoe was missing for so long that in 2015, the microchip company had actually listed her as deceased in their records. Fortunately, Zoe's owners still had the same phone number, though they've moved over the years. Zoe was found about 60 miles from where she originally disappeared. Zoe's owner says she is in shock and did not expect this to ever happen. Animal welfare officials encourage pet owners to get their animals microchipped for instances just like this. Today is the coolest day of the decade if you're a fan of palindromes. That means a word, phrase, or sequence that reads the same backwards and forwards. Today's date is 2/22/22 and it falls on a Tuesday, which is now referred as Twosday. The last time there was a ubiquitous 6-digit palindrome date was November 11th, 2011. Earlier this month, we had a slightly shorter palindrome date, February 2nd. Some people consider dates like today really lucky, and many couples decide to get hitched. On November 11th, 2011, more than 3,500 couples tied the knot in Las Vegas, making it the city's second busiest date for wedding ceremonies of all time. Clark County, where Las Vegas is located, celebrated its 5 millionth marriage license over this past weekend and expected a great turnout today. On this special Tuesday, couples can obtain a marriage license at the main airport in Vegas. In Sacramento, California, 222 couples participated in a state capitol wedding beginning at 2 p.m. and ending precisely at 2:22. But if you're not planning to get married today, you can still celebrate. Just type today's date into Google, 2/22/22, and you'll be greeted with a flurry of confetti and a sign that reads, "Happy Tuesday to you." The coldest storm of the season is moving into Southern California. Forecasters say expect rain, snow, wind, and even small hail in the region, with light precipitation expected through Wednesday before moving out of the area. A winter weather advisory is in place for our local mountains through noon tomorrow, as snow is expected to fall down to the 2,000-foot mark. Major roadways, including the 5 at the Grapevine, could be impacted by snow and ice. LA County public health officials share some important reminders as temperatures drop to freezing levels in some parts of our region. Stay indoors, dress in layers, and don't leave pets outdoors overnight. And for those seeking a shelter, call 211. LAX traffic will get backed up in the coming weeks, especially if you're heading towards the arrivals area overnight. Crews began working on the outer lanes of the lower arrivals level this week, closing lanes from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. They're building a pedestrian bridge over the roadway, and this portion of the construction is expected to take place through at least March 9th. Traffic will be detoured to the inner lanes in that level, and airport officials warn drivers to watch for posted signs and use extra caution as they navigate through the area. The bridge being constructed will connect the Terminal 1 extension to the future automated people mover Central Terminal Area Station. The 2.25-mile automated people mover is a key component of the airport's modernization program. The new train system will have 6 total stations connecting travelers to LA Metro and a car rental facility. Officials expect the train system to be completed next year and the full modernization project to be done ahead of the 2028 Olympic Games. The annual Greater Los Angeles Homeless Count takes place over 3 days and 3 nights this month, and the city of Torrance needs your help. The city has served as a deployment site and partners with the LA Homeless Services Authority, local municipalities, law enforcement, and community members to get the official statistics of what homelessness looks like in our community. These are then used to bring the much-needed services and housing to the South Bay. This year, the count takes place tomorrow, February 23rd, at the Ken Miller Recreation Center. You do not need any prior experience to volunteer. Due to the pandemic, volunteers are limited to 2 or 3 individuals from the same household. Those under the age of 18 must volunteer with a parent or guardian. Families can register together at theycountwillyou.org/Torrance_count_2022-0126. If you have any questions, email the City of Torrance leads listed on your screen. The Torrance City Council will not meet tonight as it is a previously scheduled dark night. The next council meeting will take place on Tuesday, March 1st. The Torrance Area Chamber of Commerce celebrated the grand opening of a new urgent care in the city. Located at 24329 Crenshaw Boulevard, Suite D, AFC Urgent Care offers medical care from broken bones to infections and caters to other family needs. Officials say their walk-in clinic offers extended hours, making it convenient to get the quality care patients need, especially when other doctors' offices may be closed. This new location is open 7 days a week and no appointment is needed. Congratulations on your grand opening, AFC Urgent Care. Arnold Elementary students got a special treat today. The Weiland Foundation's Clean Water Mobile Learning Center rolled onto campus for a hands-on learning experience.
I learned that if we litter or something, then it might get into the ocean and it'll be hard for the fishes to live and for us to get cleaner water.
It's really nice to have experiential learning in a facility like this because, you can watch a YouTube or you could, we have a great science lab, but it just doesn't hold a candle to something like this at the Weiland Foundation. So the kids really like that hands-on approach to learning and seeing cause and effect and problems and solutions, things that they're used to learning in class, and actually applying it.
First and second graders walked through the 1,000 square foot biodiesel science museum on wheels. It features a 40-person multi-sensory theater and 7 interactive stations, tying classroom lessons to real-life experiences. Since 2008, this Classroom on Wheels brought the latest standards-based education about water quality, water resource availability, and conservation to hundreds of thousands of students. Well, before we go, at the end of each program, we like to share feel-good stories from our community. Pictures, images, and videos that remind us of how resilient our community is and how Torrance truly cares. The Torrance Rosebowl Association is having a fundraiser tomorrow in partnership with Panda Express, and the community is invited to take part in it. From 10 a.m. to 10:30 p.m., 20% of applicable sales at the Panda Express location at 3825 Torrance Boulevard will be donated to the organization that has been creating beautiful Rose Parade floats for more than 6 decades. For app and online orders, enter the code 334518 in the fundraiser code box. And if you're planning to visit in person, show them the fundraising flyer. It's located in the latest issue of the city's e-newsletter, as well as at torrancerosefloat.org. What a delicious way to show how Torrance truly cares. Now, if you have a great story, an upcoming event, a photo or video you'd like to share, email us at covid19today@torranceca.gov. We'd love to hear from you. Well, that's our update for COVID-19 today. We'll see you back here tomorrow as Jin Chun brings you the latest. Be safe, stay healthy, and thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.